Mic check, mic check. We're back. We're back. It's been a long time. We'll get started in just a minute. All right, guys. Welcome back to my channel. I am Lamborghini C on the channel Lamborghini_C. And I'm here for a second half of the year check-in for 2024. It has been quite a year. Oh my goodness. And I'm so excited. I hope that you guys have had a prosperous, wonderful, growth motivated year, an abundant year in every area and aspect of your life. And I hope that you are staying committed to your goals. I like doing these check-ins because I do in my personal life as well. And more importantly, it allows me to make adjustments and shifts. And I've had to make some adjustments and shifts throughout the year. So I've been doing the check-ins quarterly, and even monthly, right? And so I'll talk to you guys about just some of that. But I have to tell you, congratulations on making it to the second half of 2024. This year is just going so, so fast. And when I look back to how I started the year and things that I embarked on doing or wanted to do, when I think about my network and my relationships, honey, that has been a whole whirlwind, and it's been for the good because there's some people that are no longer on the train, honey. And then there's others that have joined. My life has been so enriched by some of the networks and individuals that I've come to know, but more importantly, more enriched by just me getting to know myself even more and even better through this journey that I'm going on. I saw a quote the other day where somebody said, if you want to get closer to God, become an entrepreneur. And honey, that is my story. It has been a growth journey. It has been a complete faith walk. You hear me talk about God all the time because it's part of who I am, right? I'm a multifaceted person. And so, that is definitely a key component of who I am and the success that some of you guys get to see or witness that I have. And and so, yeah, I just want to do a check-in. Now, if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe or join every other Friday. I'm on LinkedIn Live with one of my buddies who's a phenomenal businesswoman, the Lazy Millennial, Adriana. She is just awesome. And so we do about an hour chat, Tales from the Water Cooler. I post the episodes here, but we also have them on StreamYard as well, or not StreamYard, but we also have them on Spotify for those individuals that maybe miss them because they are at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I know that gets a little tough for some of my folks that are on the West Coast. But catch us either on, Spotify, or you can catch the replays here at Lamborghini_C. But when I tell you, oh my goodness, first of all, I just love the book that you have to be intentional about the things that you're doing, that I even have my goals and, kind of my notes in. But it is a book that I rebought from last year, and I just love it. I'll read the saying to you. But it says, life is like a camera. Focus on what's important, capture the good times, develop from the negatives. If things don't turn out, take another shot. And I love, love, love that. And that fits right into my theme today, and just kind of talking about those goals in this second, half of the year check-in. And I have this book because I went on a journey at the beginning of the year, mid-January. I picked up and left the country. I needed to just take a break. I needed to just digress and really get focused on the goals that I had for this year, because I knew that a shift was coming. I was in the midst of a shift, and I knew that it was going to be phenomenal and change the trajectory of me and my business. And so I just want to go to some of these goals. And honey, what other way? When I do it, I do it. And no other way to do it than luxurious. And so I waited and took some time while I was in Colombia, where I did a day trip to one of the islands um, to, just stay and spend the day at the beach. And, and that was like the best place. Of course, I was, had VIP. So I had like the nice day bed where they were serving me food and drinks and, laying out looking at that beautiful, beautiful blue water and white sand in front of me. And so I had this notebook with me. And so I took a few minutes. I didn't take the whole time, you know, because I did make sure that I had some time to luxuriate, as I said. But I took some time to actually write out my business goals, but also to map out the plan at which I would get there. So in my business goals, I noted number of staff that I would hire. So that helped me to have check-ins through the year to see if I was on target or if I needed to make adjustments. And again, some things, there were adjustments that needed to be made. But it's interesting when you put things pen to paper and you actually begin to manifest and put your ideas and thoughts down on paper in what you want and what you're manifesting in life. It may not always happen the way in which you think it's going to happen, but it's interesting to look at the final result and to see that, I got to the result. Even though it actually looked different, because, from a monetary standpoint, maybe I said that I was going to have 2 clients at a certain monthly price point. Well, my reality is that God blessed me with one of those clients being able to make that monthly price point of the 2, right? And so, which was kind of a shift and growing even in my mindset and the clientele that I'm working with and some of the projects that I'm getting to be a part of. And so that has been phenomenal. But when I tell you, there's been a shift in some of the relationships. There's some relationships, like I mentioned, like with Adriana, that I gathered last year that have stood right and have grown and developed even closer. And it's interesting because that's how those divine connections, right? And those connections that are destined for the time period at which you might be in. And and so we were just having some conversations around just some of the things that we're witnessing and seeing, in the marketplace. Some of the things that we're seeing as trends, especially with entrepreneurs. We delved into a little bit of this yesterday when we had our LinkedIn Live segment of Tales from the Water Cooler. But there does seem to be a shift, and I think it spawned from the pandemic era, where people were forced to slow down, where they were forced to really get to know the people closest to them and those in their family. And it had a good effect on some folks because it helped them reshift and refocus on what really was important to them and to really visit the fact that, I value my family over a job, or I want to make sure I spend as much time with my family versus spending it outside of the house. And so that has shifted some folks to go into entrepreneurship where they're working from home or remotely. It's shifted some individuals who are with companies that have options, but again, options that are tied to either some positives or negatives, to actually make those decisions that fit best for their life. And some people, for them, it's not about chasing the check and the next promotion, but they are willing to. We're one company that actually has made it known and rolled out to their employee workforce. They can work remotely from home. However, they will not be subject to any promotional opportunities or even raises or increases. And some individuals have opted to go that route because, again, what they value is more than those promotional opportunities or those monetary gains. And they might be, hopefully they are savvy enough and they have some other revenue streams so that they're fine with the revenue stream they may be getting from that company. I believe there's some savvy folks, that again are using those opportunities to just better their life and overall life and well-being for their families. But when we talk about the second year check-in, again, for me, as I sat down and reviewed and did an evaluation, it was not only, again, just with the business, it was with my relationships, it was with my spirituality, it was with my fitness, weight loss goals. Those who know me know I kind of joke, I hibernate in the winter, right? I actually did pretty good this year, which is interesting because like for years I've had this cyclical up and down, right? And I actually did pretty good with being able to maintain my weight for the most part. But I picked up like an extra like 10 pounds or whatever, right? Not horrible. But there was a point I'm like, it's something about that Miami, because when you in Miami and that heat, and then everybody is wearing a few clothes and looking sexy, that it gets me into gear. Like, you know what? I know that I'm better than this. My back don't need to be this big. So I had to jump into gear. And I did just that. and with me, those who also know me, especially when it comes to, those measures like weight loss and things, for me to have impact, I have to take drastic measures, right? Like if I'm on walk, it's like an hour and a half walk. Like I'm gonna walk like 4 miles a day and things like that. Or do like a drastic food diet kind of protocol, right? Like 500 calories a day or something like that, which I have done and has worked for me, because I have to do things that actually shock my system. Like for the most part, now my body has been trained to intermittent fast, but then I've been fasting so much spiritually that like I don't even know that like that shocks my body into, a fat loss, kind of reaction. So, needless to say, I found something. I think I'm on to something, and it seems to be working, because when I measured, the inches are dropping, the pounds are dropping, baby. So just wait out, okay? Because look, okay. And I think, that JT and Jeezy, look, they made a theme song for me for this summer. Okay. And so I'm sticking with my goals and I'm seeing the results. But also in my business, like I really set out at the beginning of the year, which was again more of a faith walk as well. I stepped away from some of the clients that I was working with and transitioned to working with more higher net worth individuals. So for our fractional HR services, for my Edmund Enterprises HR Whisperer business, we work with clients that are at least 2 million in revenue annually, right? So no more of the smaller mom and pop shops. However, again, I struggled with leaving them behind because I know they need the help. And so I was able to last month roll out some packages and plans with guidelines to keep me in check, as well as to make sure I manage their expectations, so we can begin to start helping those individuals. Again, as long as they're able to afford the price point, which is pretty reasonable. We've had an uptick in our virtual assistant services. We still have some of our very loyal, good VAs that have been around for like a year or more with us, and we've added new VAs into the mix and already have them placed and working on projects. They've been just great additions to the team. We've all automated, many of those services or processes for folks to sign up, which has been a goal, right? And so again, it's being able to see those small steps go into place and have those things implemented that are positive reinforcements for me, because when I look down at my goals and things that I wrote out months ago, it's nice to be able to see the progress. But I just want to encourage you guys. I'm not going to be before you long. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. But I want you to just, again, if you take away anything, take some time and sit down and meditate. Sit down. And when I talk about meditate, I'm talking about sitting down and really envisioning what you want for your life. And then like back it up and take it into smaller chunks. Sit down and evaluate, what do you want for the year? What do you want to accomplish for this next quarter? What do you want to accomplish for this next month? And allow yourself to dream. I think all of us need that. I was pushed today. I wasn't even trying to. I was, out and about with, a special person, and they took me they're into watches, and purses are more my thing, as you can see. I have my collection, but he wanted to look at watches or what have you. And so, it sparked something in me, because look, when the little sales, he knew what he was doing, the little salesman, put that watch on my arm with the little diamonds and stuff. I'm like, you know what? I might have a new goal that I need to work to. So be watching, y'all. But no, I'm just, I'm encouraged for 2024. It's been a phenomenal year. Again, it's been a little bit of a different year for some people, depending on what industry that you may be in. Also depending on what, kind of where you are, like employee versus entrepreneur and things like that. The only thing I can tell you really is to be focused on you, focus on what your goals are and your destiny. There's no need to hate on anyone else's progress. And the reality is, I've observed through life and the way that I operate in life, again, it's interesting because the people that I see that aren't intimidated and that are able to enjoy and partner in others' success, I see them getting blessed. And in this season, that is interesting because, yeah, there's some folks for whom there's been some struggles. Like this hasn't been probably their best year. We are in a political season, and so that shifts and has some impacts on the economy and things that may be coming to play. But when I look at like my really close core knit group of individuals, we have been prosperous. But I also know that that word was spoken over us at the beginning of the year, that this economy would not touch us. What goes on in the world around us will not touch us, that we would be spared and we would have a different outcome. And when I tell you that serves to be true. And so my focus has been to make sure that I align myself with individuals that are of that same mindset, not of a scarcity mindset and things like that. Because trust me, guys, people will begin to see the glory on your life and they'll begin to see the blessings on your life, which is interesting because some of those same people will be the same ones that want to come and tell you how money doesn't matter and you shouldn't focus on money. But it's the money that they're chasing because they're chasing the physical aspects or physical manifestations of the money that they see operating in your life. And so that's why they want to get next to you because they want some of that money, right? And so it's interesting. So you do have to make sure that you are pouring into yourself and giving yourself permission where you don't feel aligned with individuals. You don't need to spend your time there because people will drain you and they will get you off course for your own goals and your own destiny. But focus on your destiny and make those alterations that you need to. Some of you are sitting up in groups and organizations you have no business being tied to because those groups and organizations have reached a certain ceiling, right? Or they may have individuals leading them or who are in a part of them or connected with them that have such a scarcity mindset on themselves, and you are walking around praying every day and speaking abundance into your life, but you're steady pouring in and connected to scarcity and wondering why you're not growing. You have to cut the cord. And trust me, I don't say this lightly because these are things that I've had to walk through. There's been groups and organizations that God's brought into my life that I've been able to be a part of and met some great people, but then it was time for me to move on. And, he has his way to work with me with that because sometimes I fight it and I'm hard headed. And sometimes he has to let some things go awry for me to realize, oh, I need to get out of here. And that some of that has happened, but I know and I trust God enough and I've been able to see him operate in my life that I know he's intentional when he does things. He's intentional when he connects me to people and when he removes me from them. One thing I want to leave you with, when God decides to change something in your life, he brings a person, but also be wary because the devil does as well. And so you need to have the discernment so that you know who's who. So again, as you begin to have all these people that want to partner with you and they want to connect, and as you're growing and people just want to hang on, like for dear life, they want to have some connection with you. I'm telling you, when you get busy and focused on growing yourself and focused on improving the world and the world of those around you, you begin to see people differently. You begin to see some people act out and you begin to see some people become desperate. They, for your attention and just trying to watch everything that you're doing. And so it's more crucial than ever, especially as you're going through those growth spurts, to stay in prayer, to stay in meditation, to hear from the power higher than yourself, for me to hear from God, right? To let me know where to spend my time and where to connect with and where to invest my dollars, where to create covenant with and where to break covenant, right? If it needs to happen. And so that is so important. I think for the second half of the year, I think, it's been interesting. It's been, a little bit dicey on the entrepreneurship realm. I think it's going to get that much so, especially as we get closer to this election, because some folks have not put in the work. Some are not interested. Like they don't want to hear about the books and things that you've read. They don't want to do any of that. They just want you to put them on the projects that you're working on. Or why can't you just hire me, and have me create some work for me to do? And again, for those individuals, it's going to be tough for them. I think as we roll through these next phases or seasons. But for the individuals that are doing the work, quote unquote, that are taking time to invest in mentorship, that are reading, that are making sure that they're connecting to the right groups and organizations and disconnecting from those that may be comfortable to them, but may actually be pulling them down or keeping them stagnant. They're going to see some growth in their lives. And so I just encourage you guys, step back and take an evaluation on all facets and phases of your life: health, wealth, relationships, your own happiness, your own internal happiness. Pay attention to how you feel as you're working on projects. How do you feel when you talk to certain individuals? Do you feel uplifted or do you feel drained and down? Do you have your excitement and vigor for life, or are you finding that you kind of are down in the doldrums, and if that's the case and you don't want to be there, begin to make the adjustments and make the tweaks. If your back is getting big and you realize, what, I know my back don't need to be this big. Take a look at, what am I eating? Am I moving enough? Am I exercising enough? And begin to make the adjustments. And I say that to be funny, but also to be realistic. Because again, only until you start making the adjustments and start measuring, then you will be able to see the physical manifestation of the changes that needed to occur for your greatness. And so I'm going to leave on that note. But again, I'm Lamborghini_C. I encourage you guys, keep living, keep trusting, keep going after your goals and your dreams for 2024. If you need any business advisement, if you need to get your affairs in order as it relates to having insurances in place or learning how to use different insurances for wealth building products for you and your family, you know how to hit me up. HR@edmond-enterprises.com or info@edmond-enterprises.com. You can check out our website. I'm on all of our social media platforms. You can send a DM and either me or someone from my team will respond to you and get in touch with you as soon as possible. Thank you for joining me here today. And have a great second half of 2024, y'all. Let's get it. I'm excited to see how the year ends. Bye.